way at the top at Mexicali, and then we just went down on through all the stuff, all the rocks, all the washes, all the whoops, everything you can think of. It was thrown at us this race, and we start in Ensenada, we go down the beach, and you got a nice beach breeze. You kind of look over at the ocean. You kind of like, oh, this is really nice. And this 500 was like from green flag to checkered flag was like, okay, just hang on, buckle up, and hold on and go racing. And it was very untraditional. You know, we're used to starting right there in front of the convention center in Ensenada, but I think this was a good step in the direction and a good sign for what's to come. And the course was just super, super rocky. We had one flat tire, but, you know, we got the BF Goodrich tires, and those things are just unbelievable what they can put themselves through. So we're excited on that. But the washes, we ran a lot of new washes, a lot of old stuff, new stuff, things we've never seen before. So the score really went above and beyond to make the welcome back just that much more special.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about, you know, obviously, you know, it's a big win for you. And I know, you know, I saw the article that, you know, Off-Road Racer did, and, you know, they did a phenomenal job of kind of telling the story and stuff. But I hate to say you've had a monkey on your back, because I know, you know, everybody likes to joke about fourth place finish, but I've said this on the show before. I'm like, you literally are probably one of the most accomplished drivers of the last 5-6 years. Like you're always there. I mean, there's nobody that's had the finishing rate and, you know, and top fives that you've had. You just haven't been able to get over the hump and get that victory. But I mean, I look at your body of work the past 5 years and I'm like, man, it rivals anybody in the sport, you know? And how was this for you to finally cross the finish line first and be like, all right, yeah, now we can move on?
Yeah, no, it felt good. You know, fourth place is obviously I want to compete and I want to win and I want to do good. And I got a cousin and a brother that are very, very good. So it's hard. You know, we all three work together hard at free running. So when we go racing, it's always going to be one of them two or both of them. And then you got guys like Menzies and McCachran and Ryan Arciero and all these guys. And it's like, man, it's like, fourth ain't bad when you look at it, but, you know, I want that breakthrough win. And we've had a lot of I've had second places. I've had a couple thirds. I've had a ton of fourth places. And the fourth place joke started off in 2000. Actually, my first trophy truck racing score was 2011. We got fourth overall. And then 2012 500, I got fourth. And then the 2012 Baja 1000, I actually got fifth. But Tavo, I don't know if you remember this, but he got penalized for adjusting his lights on the highway. And I made a joke on Race Desert saying like, oh, am I going to get fourth again? Because it was my third race in a row getting fourth. And so I got fourth. So then the running joke became, oh, Dan's going to get fourth. Dan's going to get fourth. Well, since 2012, I think I've gotten fourth 8 or 9 times, which for me, who's put in a lot of work and who's got a great team that supports me, and we put in just a ton of effort. It's like, man, fourth place again. It's like, I need that breakthrough win or podium and just be more consistent. And this win really kind of took that, like you said, monkey off my back, and it won't make it going forward so annoying if I get another fourth place. It's like, hey, you know what? I won the Baja 500, so I'll put up with it. But, you know, consistency is everything. And I think that's been my style of driving for so long, is just being consistent and smart, and fourth place ain't bad, but you always want to win.
Yeah, well, I got to say at this point, man, I think everybody's looking at you guys, and between you and Luke, I mean, you know, he's got a big win. You've got a big win this year. I know Luke was pretty close at KOH. Like, I look at this, and I think everybody's eyeing Dan and Luke McMillan going, man, what the hell are we going to do here? These guys are kind of cleaning house in 2020.
Yeah, no, our team is putting in just a tremendous effort. We got 8 guys at our shop that bust their ass to get the pre-runners and the race trucks and the chase trucks and the logistics and the spare parts all ready to go. And it just really just shows what kind of team we have, and we're all very, very close. We all get along, and you know, just more kind of due diligence, kind of, you know, crossing our T's and dotting our I's when it comes to the races, and you know, double checking, triple checking things, and being smart on the race course and making smart pre-run decisions. And you know, Luke's had a hell of a year. He won the Mint, and he got second at King of the Hammers. He won the Silver State 300 in Desert. He got third at Vegas Reno. In fact, I think Luke and Luke's truck have had like 7 podiums in a row, starting from last year's 500 or last year's 1,000. So, and then the truck I raced, got second at the Baja 1000 last year with Toby Price and Nasser Alitia. So that truck really knows its way around Baja, I'd say. But the team's putting in a great effort, and between Luke and I and a few other guys, it's going to be a battle at the 1,000.
Yeah. Well, and that being said, I got a couple things. Let's talk about the 1,000, because now all of a sudden you win the 500, and dude, you're sitting in the pole position for the Baja 1000, man. I mean, that's as big as it comes. I mean, how do you approach that, knowing you're the guy leading the pack now?
Well, I tell you what, Jim, I'm pretty excited. I usually we're qualifying, and I've never been a very strong qualifier. I've never been the guy to go out there and hang it out. But when you start first based off a result and you get the win, it's pretty awesome. I've never been the first truck on the road. I've never started first in a race. So this is really, really, really special. And obviously clean air is going to be a big advantage, especially with the four-wheel drive that we have. Depending on which way the course goes, I hope there's no wind and it's dusty and hot as hell. So we're excited. The team's excited. Luke will be starting third. Actually, I was thinking about this the other day. This is actually the second year in a row that the truck I'm racing will be starting first at the Baja 1000, because Ryan Arciero won the Baja 400 last year, which was the race that my old truck burnt to the ground, and I ended up racing with Ryan in the number 32. Well, 1 year later, the 32 is getting flip-flopped, and now the 23 is starting first. And so it's I tell you what, this year has been just extremely, I don't know what the word is, exciting, frustrating, everything in between, but kind of a remarkable turn of events here in the last couple months of the year. But we're excited for the 1,000, and we just can't wait to get back down there.
And we'll be back with more with Dan McMillan after this, right here on the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Whether you're looking for a tire that balances high performance, responsiveness, and traction in wet and light snow conditions, excellent handling and traction in wet and dry conditions, or a summer performance tire designed with the driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has you covered. From the all-new G-Max RS to the Grabber ATX, no matter what you drive, General Tire will get you where you're going. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. General Tire, cruising with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. All killer and no filler.
Welcome back to the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver here, and Dan McMillan on the show. I guess Baja winner Dan McMillan, as we can officially say now, is one of the past, but this is an overall victory and trophy truck, and definitely wanting to go up on the mantle. But before the break, Dan, we were talking a lot about racing, and you'd mentioned four-wheel drives and all-wheel drives and the technology that's been integrated into trophy trucks. I really want to key in on that, because I think the past couple of years that's been one of the big storylines coming out of the unlimited truck divisions and off-road. The four-wheel drive starting to kind of emerge, and longest time they were kind of ticking time bombs. And I think that's why nobody ever ran them. And we go back to Herps, and we got what do we got, the McPherson truck and things like that. Nobody could ever really get them to live, but I think now we're seeing, like with you, I mean, they are there, and the stability of the platform is there, and you can get them to the finish line. And I mean, how big is that? Because you're a guy that's you've burned as many laps as anybody in a two-wheel drive truck. How has the switch been to all-wheel drive and the advantages that you have in a race like Baja?
Well, I think the biggest, I get that question asked all the time is, what's the difference? What's the difference? Like, what do you notice the most? And I think the thing I noticed the most isn't so much the grab of it pulling in and out of the turns. You feel it, but I think the thing is the four-wheel drive is deceivingly fast. And what I mean by that is, with a two-wheel drive, when you're going fast over the bumps or you're on a dry lake bed, the hood likes to ride. It likes to float in the front. But with the four-wheel drive, you've got obviously the extra weight in the front with the front diff, but you've got the pull of the front. So you're staying a lot more on plane than the four-wheel drive. So you kind of, you're driving and you don't think you're going very fast because the truck's not doing anything kind of, not getting out of shape, not getting loose and wild like a two-wheel drive. And you look down your GPS, you're like, oh man, I'm doing 90 miles an hour. I'm not going slow. So corners come up a lot quicker in the four-wheel drive because you do have that speed, but you don't think you're going that fast because it's not getting kind of loose underneath you. So the four-wheel drive is certainly, I think, an advantage in a lot of things, especially in Baja with all the silt and the sand that we go through. The graded roads, it's very, very fast. I do think it's not quite as fast as the two-wheel drives and the big whoops, but they're certainly not slow. And I think with the front, it pulls you over the next whoop, and you don't have to drive them as hard. And I've never been a guy that's going to go out there and drive extremely hard. So the four-wheel drive suits my driving style. I think it suits my style of just being smart. Let the truck do its thing. Let my pre-running come into play. Long race. Let's get to the finish line and see where we are. Get to halfway and see where we're at. So you saw it with the truck last year at the Baja 1000 when Nasser and Toby raced it. Two very experienced Dakar guys that are used to racing for 15 days. So they kind of know, hey, keep the car alive, keep moving, be smooth, be smart. And it got second last year. So I think the truck and the four-wheel drive, I think with the right driver, it's a very, very good combination. The four-wheel drive is certainly, it had its bumps in the road. It has its hiccups. It has its flaws, but we're starting to learn a lot of things at our shop with them, and we're not telling anyone else. But certainly I think in the next couple years when I have one and my brother's got one on order right now, which should be done in the next couple months, I think we're going to be a force to be reckoned with, and the things that we're going to learn in our shop is going to be very, very beneficial.
Yeah. How has it been for you? I mean, obviously, you and your brother, you've got the same background. You guys are both at the top of the game right now. I mean, you can rank probably the top 5 guys in off-road, in regards to trophy truck, and you and your brother are definitely in the mix, How has it been for you guys? Because your dad, obviously, they had the unlimited programs and things like that. He could have started you out anywhere, but you guys started all the way down in 1,600 buggies, and he made you kind of learn and work your way up through the ranks to get where you're at. I mean, how does that come into play with the success that you and Luke are having now? Because you have, you started out at the ground floor where you had to watch in a 1,600 car. I mean, everything, every last rock, whoop, bump, everything was about momentum, and it teaches you a driving style, and then you move up through the ranks. And I think a lot of people that start out in the unlimited cars, they don't have to get that, they don't get the small nuances of off-road, that you do when you start in those limited classes. I mean, how does that come into play now when you're at the top of the game in this all-wheel drive, almost 1,000 horsepower trophy truck?
Well, I think it kind of taught us growing up that, it's all about momentum. It's all about speed. Every corner counts. And in 1,600, you certainly know that. You go to races like Battle at Primm or Race at the River where there's 50, 60, 1,600 cars, and you think you have a really, really fast run, and all of a sudden you're like 20th, and you're like, why? Like, how? And the 1,600 cars just really teach you about finding traction, finding momentum, setting a tire out of the groove and kind of keeping your speed up. So once we went from 1,600s to Class 1, we kind of took that, what we learned from the 1,600 car, went to the Class 1s and had a lot of success. I won a couple races in Class 1 for the 1 year I was in it, and then took it to trophy truck, but kind of taught you how to be smart too, because then, if you learn with small limited horsepower, you learn about all those things, but you learn it's also easy to get in trouble real quick. And I think a lot of guys that jump in a trophy truck real fast, it's real easy to go fast. I think we heard that once from Alan Pfluger and Dust of Glory. It's real smart. It's real easy to go fast, but you got to learn when to slow down. And a lot of these new guys come in here and they go get a trophy truck and they go over a lot of whoops and they think, oh, this is easy, but that's the one that you don't read, and you can't read the terrain that bites you in the butt. So Luke and I have certainly learned a lot of the fundamentals of reading terrain and keeping speed up and momentum. And my cousin Andy started in Class 1, but we all grew up driving buggies in the desert and in the sand dunes. So we've learned from an early age that it's easy to screw up. We've rolled buggies in the dunes, but with 1,000 horsepower and four-wheel drive, it definitely makes it a lot easier. And I think that's why we're so fast, is we don't have to push, we don't have to drive over our heads to keep up, and you always see us at the finish line.
Yeah. So obviously we got Baja 1000 coming up. Then after that, I mean, what's next year look like for you guys? There's a lot of options on the table, Dan. I mean, we've got Best of the Desert, we've got KOH, we've got the Martelli events, we've got Score, we've got this new Legacy series. I mean, how are you dissecting